Good afternoon, FBC Prineville. Pastor Mike here on Tuesday, June 16th with our weekly Tuesday announcements. And this last Sunday, after 3 months of not being able to meet together, we as a church were able to gather together for our first in-person church services. And although it was kind of awkward in some ways, it was very life-giving in others, because there is nothing quite like being able to join with God's people and worship Him together. Now, over the past week or so, I've gotten quite a few questions from people asking about our specific requirements in regards to traveling and then attending one of our in-person church services. So I want to take this opportunity from my perspective to try to bring some clarity to that question and maybe hopefully clear up for you what we're asking you to do. First of all, we don't have a hard and fast rule. We simply have some guidance and some suggestions, and we're asking you to make the decision in accordance to that. We're asking you to be thoughtful. We're asking you to make a decision that takes into account your context and your specific circumstances, and then also takes into consideration others within the church body. Second, we all have to realize, and we know this, that the prevalence of COVID-19 in our community in Kirk County is very low. And in some senses, well, in every sense, we have to praise God for that. What a grace it is that we haven't been hit hard. But secondly, some of us are experiencing frustration because we feel like there's this oppression of requirements that we have on us, even though we don't have the virus here. But we also have to understand that a virus makes its way into a community when people from outside of the community who are exposed to the virus bring it into the community, whether that's us traveling and picking it up somewhere else from this community to another, or we have people visiting us from another community. That's how the virus spreads. So what we're asking you is consider that reality, and before attending on a Sunday, think about your own exposure to the virus or potential exposure and what you might potentially share with others when we gather. So if you've been to places where the virus numbers are high, like Marion County, Salem, or into the Portland area, or after this week, LeGrand, or if you've been out of state or had visitors from any of those places, and you've spent a significant time indoors, as Dr. Noer says, sharing air with people, or you've been in close proximity with people from those communities who have a high risk of exposure, or you're just unsure what their risk is, then consider taking a week off before you attend. So just let me give you a couple examples. You go to Eugene and you sit with your grandmother on her back porch for an hour, then you come home. Pretty low risk. You go to the beach with your family for a few days and you spend most of your time either outside or with your family, but not with a whole lot of other people. You'll likely be fine. All this is to say is that we're just asking you to self-regulate, make wise decisions that take others into consideration. And finally, when we gather, we will continue to practice social distancing, and many folks are even wearing their face coverings, which we've highly recommended. But if you've traveled or if you've had out-of-town visitors, but you do decide to come to church, then we just ask, hey, take extra consideration, wear a face covering as a courtesy to those around you. And again, I just want to thank you all for your grace and your patience that's been extended to us as leaders as we continue to try to figure out how to move forward in these uncertain times. We're just very grateful that God is a God of peace. He's called us to love each other, and that we're able to extend that even though we don't always agree about how we go about things. So for this coming Sunday, again, we're going to be having two services at 9:30 and 11. Again, these will be 1 hour identical family services. There will be no childcare, no children's classes, so the kids will be with us in the service. And we're going to ask you again to please RSVP for the service you'd like to attend on our website at fbcprineville.org. And I'll give you this hint that if you choose the 11 o'clock service, there was a lot fewer people in the 11 o'clock service, so a lot of elbow room, a lot of breathing space. If that's something that concerns you, then you might want to check out the 11 o'clock service. Again, RSVP on our website. You can call the church office and RSVP with Jenny as well. And we would really look forward to seeing you on Sunday. And then again, if you're not quite ready to come back, go ahead and watch online. We will be live streaming both of those services again on Sunday morning. We love you. Look forward to seeing you soon. Have a wonderful week and enjoy the weather. Bye.